Out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls. The most massive characters are seared with scars. She is called Rehema. She has been living in reverse for her entire life. All her limbs are in a backward position, and the way that she was born is even worse. Rehema has never been married legally. She was taken advantage of by a man who promised to marry her and make her his wife. When she got pregnant, he ran away and she had to go through it all by herself. This is her story. Today, we travel to Tanzania. It was quite a long journey that really took us a lot of time, but we finally got there to meet Rehema Abdelandit, and she was glad to share the story of her life with the rest of the world. She was born with her arms and hands tied all over each other. They were folded and attached together. She was in one position and she could not move at all. The doctors tried to separate her limbs and make them straight, but it was a long-term process because her limbs were so soft and weak. She spent 2 years in the hospital being treated. Things were getting better and her parents were happy about the progress. The doctors helped her and she started moving because when she was born, she could not even sit, and according to her, this treatment helped a lot. Later, her parents were told that that was all that they could do. There was nothing more that could be done about her condition. They were sent back home, and this is when they left the hospital and came back to their home area where they lived. Rehema says that she was born in Rufiji and it is where she grew up from. Time went by and she always stayed at home being taken care of by her parents and her siblings. In their family, they had more than 10 children, but she does not know their exact number. All that she remembers is that as time went by, they kept on dying one after another. After some time, she lost both her parents, and when they died, it was really hard for her to live with what had happened, but there was nothing that she could do to change it. One day, a man from the neighborhood who always used to see her came to talk and they became friends. She says that he was the only person that was always around to talk, and they later ended up falling in love. Before she knew it, she was already pregnant. She was still living in her parents' house when all this happened. She convinced her siblings that the father of this baby was going to marry her and make her his wife. But when she told him that she was pregnant, it was completely a different story. He abandoned her and never wanted to know anything concerning the baby or even herself. That was the last time that they ever heard from him, which means that until today, she still doesn't know his whereabouts. She says that she expected to give birth to a normal child because she was the only disabled one in her entire family. In 1982, she moved to Dar es Salaam, and this is where she still lives until today. She gave birth to a baby girl. She did her best to raise her, which was not also easy at all because of her disability. She managed to raise her daughter, who turned into a grown-up lady, and she later got married. This was something to celebrate and be happy about. People that were living in this area always saw how this lady was suffering each and every day. She could hardly manage to do anything for herself. They decided to gather efforts and give her a place to stay. They built a house for her, and she says that she will ever be grateful for this. Her daughter's family had to move in with her because her daughter was the one that was taking care of Rehema, and she could never survive on her own. They lived together until her daughter decided to move to the capital city and work for money, and she promised to come back when she gets it. She did this because her family was living in poverty and life was getting harder each and every day. According to her, something had to be done. Life is not easy at all because her son-in-law does not have a job. Him and her daughter gave birth to 3 children, and these are grandchildren to Rehema. She lives with them now, and the eldest of them is the only one that has a job in this house. She is all that they depend on for food, and she is the one that has to come back and cook because Rehema is disabled and she cannot manage to. This means that she has to wait for her grandchild so that she can eat. There is another grandchild that she stays with at home, but she is still very young and all she can do is to bring drinking water for Rehema, and she cannot manage to cook. This is how they are living now, and the life of her grandson is also a sad story. He lives here, but he does not stay at home because he is always on a hunt for a job so that he can also be able to provide something. It has been years now, and the case is still the same. He moves out every morning and comes back later in the evening, but still nothing. Today, she did not eat because she is fasting. When we visited her, it was in Ramadan season. It is the 9th month of a Muslim year during which strict fasting is observed from dawn to sunset. Of course, they are expecting to eat at 6 p.m. or whenever her grandchild will come back from work. Since she is too old now, she says that she is so weak and there is nothing that she can do on her own anymore. Years ago, she used to sweep the compound and do other sorts of housework, but today she cannot anymore. When she was young, she could lift herself up to the bed and back down. She could move around the neighborhood too, but now, since she became so fat, obviously, she became heavier and she cannot do this anymore. All that she does is to stay in this house all day. She stays here at home each and every day, taking care of her grandchildren, and some of the few things that she can do on her own is to crawl on the ground and take herself to the toilet slowly by slowly. This is all that she can do on her own. Bathing is hard. She still has to wait for her granddaughter who comes and still does it for her. She says that it was never easy to accept to be showered by her granddaughter, but this was the only way to go. She says that the kind of help that she needs today is a motorcycle that will help this family in their daily life. It will keep making it easier for her to keep going to the hospital. In other days, it will be working to provide money for food, and this will not be a problem in this house anymore. The funds that will be used to buy for them a motorcycle will be donated via Giving Life. A link that is in the description of this video and pinned in the topmost comment by Afrimax English. Share Rehema's story to the rest of the world. Thank you for watching. My name is Prince. This is Afrimax English. Do not forget to subscribe.